Hey guys, let's talk about tonight's episode of How to Get Away with Murder. And we start off the episode 6 months prior to the murder of Sam, and we finally get to meet Lila, who all this murder is about. And she's laying on the roof of, I guess, her dorm or something, and she's talking to Rebecca, and she reveals that she's dating somebody, and it's not her boyfriend Griffin. And this is when she talks about Mr. Darcy, and she explains that he's married. And then in subsequent scenes, we see as we're getting closer and closer to the breakup of that relationship. That she talks about the first time that they have sex. She talks about him wanting to break it off. Well, one of the things that she mentions that when they had sex, that he must not have had sex for a long time with his wife because he just wouldn't stop. So that revealed a lot about the relationship between Sam and Annalise. And then the next time we see her, she's talking about wanting Sam back and that he wants to break it off, and she's crying on the roof, and she's again talking to Rebecca in all these scenes, and she talks about wanting to go to Annalise and show her the pictures, all the pictures of Sam's penis, and just basically expose everything about Sam and break up their relationship. And Rebecca basically tells her not to do that, that would be a bad idea. And then, of course, we see a scene when where Lila goes to Annalise's home, and she's not there, but Bonnie answers the door. So we finally got some very interesting information about Bonnie as well in this episode. We've all known that there's been like this weird thing that going on between Bonnie and Sam, and was it a relationship that they had before, weren't telling anybody? Did she just have a crush? And we find out in this episode that Sam tries to use this to his benefit by lying or continuing to lie about knowing that Lila was pregnant. And of course, we found out at the end of last week's episode that Lila was 6 weeks pregnant, and Sam denies this at the top of the episode. And this is what sparks Bonnie to confront Sam, saying that the night that Lila died, she came to the house. She was looking for you, and she was upset, and she was she wasn't looking for Sam, sorry, she was looking for Annalise to expose the whole relationship. And in that altercation that they had, she mentions that he can't continue lying about this. The truth is going to come out. So obviously Sam knew that she was pregnant, and Sam has definitely lied quite a bit in this season so far. And at the moment he's asking Bonnie to help him, he puts his hand on her cheek and he says, you've always had my back, and I need you to have my back one more time. And then he kisses her, and it's like, whoa. And I wasn't sure if this is obviously something that had happened before, but one of the things I kind of liked about this episode was everybody kind of had a secret, and then it just got revealed in the next episode, in the next scene. So, he basically is asking Bonnie to keep his secret, and then in the next scene, boom, she's telling Annalise everything. And she tells her all about that Lila had come to the house back when, before she had died, that he obviously knew she was pregnant, and that he kissed her to try to keep, because obviously he knows that she has feelings for him. And Annalise just keeps getting hit with bomb after bomb after bomb, okay? It's just crazy how much this woman had to endure. So in that moment, Bonnie's kneeling at the foot of Annalise, and she's begging for forgiveness, and she's like pleading, and she's crying, and then Annalise gets up and is like, "You're fired." She's just like, "But I told you the truth." And it's like, Annalise, don't play. Cutthroat. So yeah, we got some very interesting stuff with Bonnie in this episode. And of course, again, with Sam knowing that he knew this whole time that she was pregnant and lied. And of course, Rebecca was up to her kind of like scheming ways. So again, Annalise told Wes right at the beginning of the episode that Lila was pregnant, and she asks Wes not to say anything to Rebecca, and he's like, why? And then he's like, why would you just tell me? Why would you just not tell me if you didn't want me to tell her? And she says, I've learned a thing or two about lying to you and basically what he can possibly do, because obviously at this point he's blackmailing Annalise. So immediately after that scene, he runs and tells Rebecca that she was pregnant. Did you know? She's like, no, I didn't know. And during the flashbacks, we find out that she didn't know. But Rebecca is, of course, working with Nate, who is Annalise's ex-cop friend. And he wants, at the end of last week's episode, he basically met up with Rebecca and was like, look, we both know who did this, and it's Sam. Let's try to take him down. So Rebecca goes to him with this information. It's like everybody just knows everything at this point. And he tells her to try to get a piece of hair from him, and she tries but fails. And then now they're trying to get information off of his off the hard drive, off of so that he can find out like all the texts and everything through his cell phone. So Rebecca is obviously doing her part to try to get herself off the hook for this murder. And then of course Wes finds out, and everything is just coming to a head, which is kind of cool. We also see in this episode some more stuff about Michaela and the whole prenup, and we find out who mama-in-law is soon to be, who is an awesome actress, and she don't play either because these two have a little standoff in the restaurant, and I believe Mama won that little battle. But we'll see how that ultimately ends up playing out. But it was good to see that, Michaela is trying to stand up for herself. She's basically claiming she's not going to divorce her son, so there's no need for her to sign this prenup, and the mother basically calls her trash, and she's going to try to destroy her, and she was right about her for all along. And Michaela tries to slap her, and she grabs her hand, and she just basically says, at least you're proving that I was right all along about who you are. So there you go. The stuff going on with Laurel and Frank, I could really care less about that whole steamy relationship, but at least we got to see how it ended. Because a few episodes ago we saw when he tried calling her when they were dragging the body around, that she was upset, and they had already basically broken up, or she was so upset with him, and we find out why. That they were making out, and they get to his house, and he has a girlfriend apparently. So everybody on this show, clearly not great people. So that's why she's upset with Frank when he calls her later on that evening. And then of course we had Michaela going over to Asher's house because she wanted to steal the trophy back, because she felt she had proven herself during the case of the week this week. And Annalise was like, I don't really care who has a trophy. And she's like, you have to care, because this whole thing is about who has a trophy. So Michaela goes over to Asher's house to steal the trophy back when he's trying to plan a party for everybody. And that is, again, why he goes to Annalise's home later on when they're all at the place after Sam's been killed, and he's banging on the door asking for his trophy back because Michaela is the one who steals it from him. So we're finally getting all the bits and pieces of the case, and we're getting it all leading up to the night of this murder. And like I said earlier, Sam kisses Bonnie, and then when he comes back to the house, Annalise basically informs him that she has now gone to the DA to get DNA samples from all of her past lovers, including her teachers. So bam, Annalise is no longer on Team Sam. So yeah, it looks like at this point she's done with her husband, which is a good thing because he is not good people. So yeah, lots of little twists and turns. The case of the week was fine, but obviously everything that was important about this week's episode was about Rebecca, the case, Sam, Bonnie. All of that was really good, juicy material. And can I just say, Annalise, her character is just so complex, and I'm really enjoying her every week. Just seeing how she is, like nailing this role. I should say Viola Davis nailing this role. She's just not one layer. There's so many layers to her, whether you like her or not, whether you think she's over the top or not. She's just bringing it every single week, and I love that. There's not much more you can say about her. She's just awesome. So it was good to see Lila, finally getting a little bit about her personality, that she wasn't just this person that we keep talking about, that she actually really did care about Sam. She really thought he was going to leave his wife for her. She was really willing to cheat on Griffin, the whole time. She didn't really have a problem with that. And she actually went to Annalise to expose the truth. So, yeah, that was actually good to see. And then, of course, Wes selling Annalise the second he could. And then, of course, yelling at Rebecca for going behind his back and getting Nate involved and then trying to get this information off the phone. And he was basically like, look, I'm trying to pretend that I'm on Annalise's side so that I can stay close to her. And now she knows that I've lied. And now you've just created a bigger problem here. So we'll see what happens. And again, the relationship between Annalise and Wes is very interesting because I find it creepy in that way where, she kind of likes him, but she wants to keep him under her thumb. And, there's all this like underlining stuff going on between the two of them. I just can't quite figure out. And I think I like that because it's just not one note as everything else is with Annalise. So let me know what you guys thought of this week's episode. I'm glad that we're basically one episode away of the murder of Sam, and we'll see where all of that goes. All right, guys, that's it for me. Let me know what you thought. Leave a comment down below, like and subscribe, and I'll see you next week.